Hello, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley. The shoplifters costing charity shops thousands, but there are new measures on the way to stop them. We're in Crowthorne in Berkshire, where they're targeted daily by thieves.
And at the end of the morning we'll say, oh, I see that Ted Baker bag went, and the person on the till will say, no, I didn't sell it.
A lorry driver accused of causing the death of a cyclist in Oxford is found not guilty of dangerous driving.
Also tonight, hunting down the faded signs of times gone by. The campaign to preserve the snapshots of history that are easy to miss.
It's a bit gloomy at the moment, but join me in a short while when we'll meet someone in this garden in Kennington who's crazy for Christmas.
Good evening. Retailers in Crowthorne say they're being repeatedly targeted by shoplifters, with charity shops in the village being hit every day, costing them thousands.
Staff say items including ornaments and clothing are being swiped by thieves, taking money away from services, including a local day centre for vulnerable people.
Well, the Police and Crime Commissioner has announced new measures to support shops and workers in the Thames Valley as part of efforts to deliver targeted and robust responses. With more, here's Kieran Fitzpatrick.
It leaves a sick feeling in your mouth. That's what Hilary and her team in Crowthorne say about the almost daily shoplifting. The Coates charity shop raises money for a senior citizen day centre in the Berkshire village. They do their best to protect high-ticket items with glass cabinets under the tills, but they struggle to keep on top of the sheer amount of perpetrators.
Really annoyed, upset, disappointed, because on the whole, they don't steal a pair of boots. You know, they steal ornaments, nice label handbags. Maybe we put something out and at the end of the morning we'll say, oh, I see that Ted Baker bag went, and the person on the till will say, no, I didn't sell it. So we know someone's helped themselves to it. As a shop, we feel there's no point in calling the police. We don't think they'll do anything about it. And even if people are caught, does anything happen? Do they get a rap, on the wrist? I don't know.
Shoplifting rates are on the rise across the Thames Valley, with almost 12,000 offences recorded by police in the past year. It's not just charity shops. A recent survey by the Retail Trust that spoke to 1,600 employees at 200 companies nationally, from Tesco's to H&M, say that almost half of them have experienced abuse while at work, and nearly a quarter of them don't report it to police because of poor dealings with them in the past. Thames Valley Police say they are aware of the impact of retail crime on local high streets and understand that the underreporting means, in truth, rates are even higher. They hope the launch of a new app can encourage retailers to report and share details of possible shoplifters and abusive customers.
Sounds perverse, but I want to see a rise in retail crime over the next year, because that will be a rise in reported crime. So the app will make it easier to report, but also about sharing intelligence across stores. So in an area such as this, if one store has had someone acting suspiciously in their store or stealing from them, they can share that intelligence quickly.
A few doors down at the Sue Ryder Hospice, it's a similar story. Staff here know time is ticking to catch the criminals.
Just yesterday, I had two men. They were looking at the men's clothes. One of them just walked away with a coat. I walked out. I tried to run after him, but I couldn't because he disappeared. I don't know, where did he go? I just had a visit from the officer Matthew today. And he was really helpful. He said, report to the police, and I can use the app as well every time anything like this happens. So police is aware that the crime is increasing.
Both Hilary and Antje know that 99% of their customers are honest. They hope that the 1% will be caught and prosecuted so they can focus on volunteering for good causes without the fear that their hard work goes to waste. Kieran Fitzpatrick, ITV News, Crowthorne.
Leila Moran, the MP for Oxford West and Abingdon, has told the House of Commons that a member of her family has died in Gaza. Speaking ahead of a vote on a motion calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza conflict, Ms Moran said it was the most difficult day she had endured in her parliamentary career.
I wanted to let the House know that today I lost my first family member. And the reason why this is important, having spoken about how they are in a church in Gaza City, and how they didn't, I'm afraid, die of a bomb. Instead, they died perhaps for lack of food.
A Swindon man has been jailed for 24 years for multiple sexual offences against a child. 30-year-old Matthew Van Dross was found guilty of 25 different offences. He'll serve a minimum of 20 years behind bars.
Former Prime Minister and Witney MP David Cameron will be known as Lord Cameron of Chipping Norton following his appointment as Foreign Secretary. The title confirms his long-held ties to the Cotswold town of Chipping Norton, which lies within his former constituency, after his elevation to the House of Lords 7 years after he resigned from government.
A lorry driver who struck a cyclist in Oxford causing fatal injuries has been cleared of causing death by careless driving.
James Lindsay collided with cyclist Ellen Tam, who was 44, after straying into a bus and cycle lane near Oxford Parkway station last year. She worked at Oxford University. Rachel Hepworth has been following the developments at court and sent this.
Well, the judge described it as a tragic case in which the cyclist had lost her life on one of Oxford's busiest commuter routes. Ellen Tam had been cycling along Oxford Road during the morning rush hour in February last year when she was struck by the lorry driven by James Lindsay. He'd been manoeuvring his truck in order to turn into the park and ride and said he had no choice but to veer into the shared cycle and bus lane to do so. He'd indicated but simply hadn't seen Miss Tam, who very sadly died at the scene. Well, today the jury took just over an hour to find him not guilty of causing death by careless driving. Giving evidence earlier, he had said that he was very sorry about what had happened and was visibly relieved as the verdict was delivered. Well, Miss Tam was an administrator at Oxford University and was described by colleagues as kind, funny, endlessly patient and a friend to all. Well, Mr Lindsay left court a free man today, but questions may well be asked about the layout of the road in the area where the accident happened, a stretch of road used by hundreds of cyclists and vehicles every day, with concerns that such a tragic accident was possible. Rachel Hepworth, ITV News at Oxford Crown Court.
The AA, which is based in Basingstoke, says it's received more than 450,000 call-outs about damage caused by potholes this year, a record number. The Transport Secretary, Mark Harper, has been in Surrey as the government pledged more than £8 billion of funding to resurface more than 5,000 miles of roads. The money's been saved by the scrapping of the second phase of HS2. The local government association says it's vital the plan is locked in by Chancellor Jeremy Hunt in next week's autumn statement.
It means we're able to spend £8.3 billion over the next 11 years. That's the largest increase in local road maintenance funding ever, and it will mean money this year, next year, and for the remaining period. And local authorities, it doesn't just mean they can fill more potholes, it means they can actually plan to improve the quality of local roads, which is exactly what drivers want to see. 96% of drivers have that as their top priority.
A horse that was startled by fireworks and became entangled in a fence in West Berkshire has been rescued by firefighters. The county's Fire and Rescue Service carried out a specialist operation to free the creature, which was said to have been terrified. The horse is now recovering, just so you know.
Now you're watching ITV News Meridian in the Thames Valley. Still to come on the programme.
Can Oxford United's new manager keep their promotion push on track? We meet him on his first day in the job.
And this weekend brings wind and rain, but perhaps more excitingly, it also brings a meteor shower. Find out when you can expect to see each of those by joining me for your full forecast.
More, of course, from us online. The phone number is on the screen as well, and you can follow us on social media.
Next tonight, people with ADHD are struggling to get hold of medication since a national shortage was announced. It comes at the same time as more people are being diagnosed with ADHD and seeking treatment.
Well, a GP in Oxfordshire is telling patients not to give up trying to get medication and to seek advice from a pharmacy or a local doctor. With more, here's Amrit Birdie.
When Frankie was diagnosed with ADHD earlier this year, she felt relieved. At last, she'd be given medication to help manage her condition. Or at least, that's what she thought.
I started in April, and my last batch of medication, up until the ones I've just got, was August. Going without the medication itself, it's quite the thing to go from like the quite high dose to absolutely nothing. Not only are you feeling kind of sort of down, but really lethargic, and it's really difficult to do anything.
Frankie now worries constantly about not having access to her medication in the future.
My medication helps me focus on just everything, so having that back is amazing. It's just really scary of sort of how long am I going to have it back for.
Supply issues affecting 3 types of ADHD medications could last until December, according to the government. They say increased global demand and manufacturing issues are behind these shortages.
We just suddenly got a national patient alert saying ADHD medication is about to go out of stock, and it's about to go out of stock for months. The NHS should have a strategy for when pharmaceutical products go out of stock and where there are supply chain issues, where perhaps active ingredients can't be created or purchased. Like, these issues happen, and there should be a plan in place, and there's almost zero plan in place.
ADHD UK estimates around 1.9 million adults in the UK have the condition. Dr Rachel Ward is a GP in Didcot, and she's encouraging patients not to give up despite the shortages.
Go to your local pharmacy and see if they have your medication available. If they don't, you can try other pharmacies and then get in touch with your GP, the GP or a pharmacist working within your GP, and they will be advising you what the recommendation is for your type of medication and dosing regimen.
The government told ITV News that they're working intensively with manufacturers to increase supply for the UK and ensure continuous access to ADHD medicines for those who need them. Just last month, exclusive data by ITV and ADHD UK found that people wait an average of 3 years for an ADHD referral and a decade for diagnosis. And now these medication shortages mean it really can be a waiting game when it comes to living with ADHD. Amrit Birdie, ITV News.
And the ITV Evening News continues here at 6:30 with a preview. Charlene White.
Coming up, warnings from the UN that starvation could be imminent in Gaza as food, fuel and water run critically low. Israel says it will allow 2 fuel trucks into the Gaza Strip each day for the UN to continue aid work, but there are fears it won't be enough. Plans to offer women going through the menopause talking therapy to help with symptoms. And Everton in the danger zone after being docked 10 Premier League points for breaching fair play rules. But what does it mean for their rivals? We'll talk through that and lots more other stories from 6:30.
Well, let's stay with sport. Andrew joins us in the studio at Oxford have a new manager.
Unveiled just a couple of hours ago, and he's been on quite a journey to get here. Des Buckingham was born in Oxford, played for the club's youth side, and was a coach for the first team a decade ago, before being unveiled this afternoon. But in between his time in Oxford, he's been coaching and managing in Australia, New Zealand, and most recently Mumbai, where he won the Indian Super League. He takes over from Liam Manning, who left the role after just 8 months to join Championship side Bristol City. Buckingham then has lots of experience abroad, but with the U's flying second in League One, he says there's no place like home.
It's a club that I've grown up supporting. It's a club where my family have grown up in the area. I literally grew up across the road from the training ground here. And it's one where people like my nan, who was a season ticket holder for 25 years, used to take us up the manor to start with. So to be able to come back into the club after leaving it 9 years ago and to take this club forwards now as a head coach is a very proud moment for me and my family.
Transfer. No match for Oxford United this weekend because of the international break. But our sides in League Two both play tomorrow, and they're both hoping to close the gap on the playoff places. Crawley are at Barrow, while Swindon travel to Harrogate. Now, when Tim Holton started playing table tennis as a child, he couldn't imagine the impact the sport would have not only on his own life, but on many others. As the founder of the Brighton Table Tennis Club, he's offered countless opportunities to people in the area, and in recognition, he's been nominated for a prestigious National Lottery Award. James Dunham's been to meet him.
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Tim Holton is a towering force in the world of table tennis. How does it feel to be nominated, Tim?
Yeah, it's great. It's a collective. It's a collective. The whole thing is about everyone.
Everyone is at the heart of this club. Children, adults, refugees, even prisoners have all picked up a bat and ball in the 17 years since he started Brighton Table Tennis.
It's obviously about your physical health and your mental health, but it's also about the sort of social side of things and the community. And I don't think you can put a price on that sense of feeling of belonging and making a positive contribution for all of our players and members. Table tennis is like this beautiful, accessible, fun. It's just so simple.
With growing pace, the club now sees 1,500 members each week. Paralympic world champion Will Bailey's been involved for 5 years, and Amila Thilakarathna for the last 2.
This is like a home to me, you know. Even everyone is so nice, and then it's very helpful, and then this environment is completely different to the other clubs.
It's good for everyone, you know. I play, top level table tennis, a Paralympic champion. I've won the Paralympics, but to have so many different types of people around me, I think it makes me a better player.
Team boring, team make so many things. So busy, email everything, organize everything, so good. That's why club are bigger than big.
Tim's grassroots organisation has even helped launch a community cafe next door, which has been serving affordable meals for a year now. No time to eat though for the over 55s who are up on court.
It's a really good sociable visit. It's fabulous. It's really, really good.
We have good fun playing. It's good, have a good laugh.
Who's the best out of you four?
I don't think I am, no.
Very modest.
She's very good. She's got some great shots.
What is the table tennis mission? How far can you go with this?
Well, I think at the moment there's nearly 10 million people that are registered to do parkrun, and our goal is for All Stars to be bigger than that. Mass participation. Everyone plays table tennis. Everyone loves table tennis, and it's just done in a sort of creative and an imaginative way that's fun.
Tim first started playing table tennis aged 8.
I want to say thanks, Mum and Dad, for everything and the values.
3 decades later, he'll soon find out if his passionate commitment is worthy of award recognition. James Dunham, ITV News, Brighton.
Great recognition and very well deserved.
Well deserved. And Andy, exciting news for Oxford. So Des Buckingham, the new manager, he sounds quite exciting. I mean, he's done a lot.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And they said, although he is originally from Oxford, they wanted to discount that. They didn't want to just, think, oh, we want to get the local guy. What they were doing was getting somebody with huge success elsewhere. It was part of the City Group, Mumbai Football Club. So that whole Manchester City ethos, and that's what he'll be bringing in to Oxford United.
Really interesting. He seems very young to me, but it might just be because I'm getting very old. But anyway, Andrew, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, have you ever been walking down the high street and noticed some faded lettering painted on a wall or an old advert where you wouldn't expect to see one? Well, you could be looking at what's known as a ghost sign.
Well, they are typically hand-painted advertising signs or old shop signs from the late 19th or early 20th centuries on buildings, like the former Frampton's Mill in Ringwood and the Simmons Brewery in Caversham, and they give a glimpse into a town's past.
Well, now Historic England wants the public's help in compiling a database before many of them fade away altogether. With more, Kevin Ashford.
They're a sign of times gone by, fading relics known as ghost signs or ghost adverts, from when a building had a different owner or use. like these examples in Winchester, Eastleigh and Fareham in Hampshire. Now the heritage body Historic England wants all of us to keep an eye out for these pointers to the past. Now you've told me there are ghost signs everywhere. I have to confess I can't see one round here.
Well, look up. Take courage.
Oh wow.
A slogan from Courage Brewery, probably 40, 50 years old.
Now you want people to tell you about ghost signs in their area. Why is that?
Well, actually they're under-recorded. We don't have records of that many of them, and we think the public can really help creating a record of where they are and what they are, and send us their images, and we will create a database and an archive from that. They're the relics of past ages, and they're a very evocative way of immediately taking you back to a shop or a pub or somewhere that had a different existence.
Now, unless the signs are on a listed building or in a conservation area, they have very little protection against being removed, and by their very nature, a lot of them are simply going to fade over time. But historians say they can provide a vital insight into an area's past.
They were the cheapest form of advertising for local businesses. It really was just a matter of paying one sign writer and one can of paint. They tell the story of lots of little businesses, lots of little companies all over the place. They're not really associated all that often with the big brands. This is about the local, the regional, the sort of nitty-gritty of life, and that's worth hanging on to.
The ghost sign images will be added to an online interactive map that will help paint a picture of our commercial heritage. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
I think everybody's going to be looking around, looking up and just finding them now.
Paying more attention.
Ever spotted one?
No, I need to pay more attention. I'm kind of feeling bad. Sorry.
No, don't feel bad.
Sorry.
Now, it may still feel a bit early to talk about Christmas, but many of our towns and cities are starting to look very, very festive. And Winchester Cathedral's Christmas market has opened today. It attracts around 400,000 visitors each year and will be open until the 21st of December, and entry to the market is free.
Well, this weekend is a busy one for Christmas light switch-ons. Events in Bournemouth, Littlehampton, Newbury, Aylesbury, Fareham are taking place, although some planned festivities are being scaled back a little due to the weather forecast. We'll get more on that, of course, in a moment or two.
But now Derek Johnson is live in Kennington near Oxford tonight. And Derek, you're with a fundraiser. It looks a bit dark at the moment, but this fundraiser has pulled out all the stops.
Yes, I'm with a fundraiser. I'm also with the Strawberry Fair majorettes, you might be able to see, and a lot of people. Shall we just count down to the lights coming on, everyone? 10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lovely, lovely. We just want to thank Evie Crawford here, who's 12 and switched these lights on for us. Thank you so much. Graham, let's just have a look at what we've got here outside. It's a pretty small bungalow, but we've got everything here. Father Christmas, reindeer, all sorts of wonderful, wonderful creations. The man responsible for it is Martin here.
Hello.
Not your first rodeo, my friend, is it? Have you been doing this for a while?
Yeah, it's 4 years now.
It is mid-November. I just want to point that out. Is it not a tad early?
Not really. Not for the organisation it takes to set it all up and everything.
How many individual lights have you got here?
Well, there must be 500.
And how long does it take, Martin, to put it together?
About a month to set it all up.
And the reason there's so many people all around us here is they're coming to see Father Christmas as well as the lights.
Yeah, Father Christmas, the lights, they just enjoy and donate to the charities.
Wonderful. This is kind of the official switching on here. They did it on the radio the other day. I'm not quite sure how that worked, lights on the radio. But Amelia, this is what it's all about. You run a charity. You're going to be a beneficiary of anything raised.
Yes. So we're here from Sobell House Hospice Charity. We're Oxfordshire's largest hospice, and we reached about 2/3 of the people who died in Oxfordshire last year. We have to raise £3 million every year. So things like this, amazing people in the community who support us. Every penny counts, and we're just so grateful to lovely, lovely people like Martin.
Because actually, charities, you rely on the sort of creative endeavours of people like Martin doing this just outside his house.
Absolutely. It's our amazing people in the community who make such a difference to us, and we're part of the community, so people want to give back to us, and we want to be here to support them.
Martin, how long's this going to be up for?
It's going to be lit up now till the 3rd of January.
How popular is it with the neighbours?
They're not too bad, they're quite supportive. Yeah.
All right, well, we've only got 10 seconds left. This is the Abbey Brass Band from Abingdon, and they, my friends, are going to play us out. 1, 2.
Fantastic. In the mood now?
There's no denying it now, is there? It doesn't matter
exactly.
how much you're resisting it, we are kind of in the season.
What is it, 17th of November? Yeah, not long.
Touch early, but great course. Right, let's talk about the weather. Holly joins us in the studio and a few more fancy things in the sky. Not lights, but different things.
That's right, yeah. Well, I mean, lights of a sort, I suppose. Take a look at this. So we've had lots of photos of these coming in today. This is a sundog. This one came in from Phil Noyce. If you zoom out a little bit, you can see they form on either side of the sun, 2 bright spots, and they form when you get high-level cloud coming in, made of ice crystals. That refracts the sun's light. It causes all these colours, and it often is a sign of deteriorating conditions, which, as I will tell you a little bit later, is what is happening for tonight, sadly. But also, before I tell you about that, I want to tell you about something else that's going on in the night sky, and that is the Leonids meteor shower. Now, this is a shower that you can see throughout the month of November, or for much of it. It peaks tonight technically, although the weather conditions for viewing it won't be great, so you're better off looking for it tomorrow. Some years, this is an amazing shower, and you can see 100,000 meteors now. That was the case back in 1833 anyway, which admittedly was a while ago. This year, a slightly more conservative 10 to 15 meteors an hour, but still, I think, rather nice to see. So you just need to head outside, let your eyes adjust to the darkness, and you may see some of those shooting stars streaking across the sky.
And the fancy thing I'd like to see is just some sunshine, just the sun.
I mean, that would be nice too, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, the weekend, really not looking great. Signs by Tuesday or Wednesday it might start to get a bit better, but let's take a look at the full forecast.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
Yes, after the sunshine of today, it is all change for tonight and for the weekend as well. So turning unsettled, outbreaks of rain moving in at the moment. That gives us a wet start to things for tomorrow. And it's rather windy as well tomorrow, and particularly on Sunday. Let's look at the bigger picture then, because we've had a brief ridge of high pressure dominating, but you can see this feature moving its way across us, bringing tonight and tomorrow's rain. And even once it clears through, low pressure still dominates, a squeeze in those isobars, and that means a windy day on Sunday with blustery showers. And here's that rain already showing its hands, spilling its way across us through the rest of tonight. The winds start to increase. We have got a warning in force actually from midnight for southwestern parts of the region. A mild one for tonight, quite murky, especially across high ground. And yes, this warning for tomorrow valid for southern parts of Hampshire, Wiltshire, Dorset and the Isle of Wight as well. The risk of some localised flooding, a lot of surface water I think in general, and windy as well. We could see gusts up to around 40 miles an hour for the coasts. Something a bit drier and brighter for the afternoon, that's the good news. Still quite a windy story, it has to be said, but it is mild despite the wind and the rain. Our times of high water. For Poole, we've got midnight 32 and again at 12:55 into the afternoon. Now for Sunday, it's a windy story, I think more so than Saturday actually. We could see coastal gales or even severe gales and a number of blustery showers around too, at times perhaps merging together as well. Still those showers in the mix for Monday, though the wind's not as strong, but something a little bit quieter as we head towards midweek. Take care.
Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
And that is it from us. We're glossing over the weather. I'm just not even going to talk about it. The ITV Evening News is coming up shortly with Charlene White.
Do you want to talk about Christmas again?
No, it's too soon.
Okay.
It's too soon.
Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.